All right, in this sort, we're thinking about how R changes the sound of the vowel U. And we're going to be listening for a sound sort first. So as I read each word, we're going to listen for the sound. And then based on the sound, it'll tell us where it goes. And then we'll look at the spelling pattern to decide if we need to put it anywhere further. So the two sounds that we're going to be listening for are the sound like in the word turn, or curve. You hear that sound. R next to U makes an sound. Or we're going to be listening for the sound or, like in sure. So versus or. And once we decide that, then we can look further at the spelling patterns. If we hear an to decide, is it just UR that's making that sound? Or is it a UR consonant V sound, or consonant E sound? Both of these say The E at the end of this word doesn't really have any control over the UR because bossy R is changing the sound of the U. But we're still going to sort them based on if it has an E at the end or no E. And then these UREs make a totally different sound, like in sure. And there's going to be one oddball that we'll look for and talk about when we get there. So let's start sorting here. This is the word nurse. I hear that sound, so I know that it goes over here. And then looking at the spelling pattern, I see UR consonant E, so I'm going to put it here with curve. Here's the word purr, like an animal that's purring. I hear that sound again, and I don't see any E at the end of the word, so I know that it belongs here, like in turn. This is the word burn. Again, I hear that sound, and because there's no E at the end of the word, I can put it there in the UR column. Here's the word hurt. I hear that sound again. That bossy R is changing the sound of the U. And because there's no E in the word, I can put it here with the other UR words. This is the word surf. That's like the surfing that you do if you were on the beach. But it can also mean like waves at the beach. The surf of the beach was very strong that day. I hear an in this word, and since I don't see an E at the end of it, I'm going to put it here with my other UR words. This is the word urge, like I urge you to make a good choice, or I beg you, or encourage you to make that good choice. I hear an at the beginning of this word, and I notice there's an E at the end of the word, so it's UR consonant E saying like an urge. This is the word curl, like a curl on your hair. I hear that sound, and so I'm going to put it here. Here's a word pure, and this one has a different sound. We don't hear the sound in this word. We hear it more like like in sure or pure. So we're going to set that one over here with the URE words that make a different sound. This is the word were, like we were talking before you interrupted. This word we hear the sound like in UR or UR consonant E. But there's no U in this word, so this is going to be our one oddball. We hear the same sound, but there's no UR in this word. Were is spelled W-E-R-E. Here's the word cure, like we need it to cure this illness before it gets worse. And again, like in sure and pure, we hear that sound more than we hear so we're going to put cure over here. Continuing to sort, this is the word burst, like the balloon burst when it hit the tree. Again, we hear an sound, and since there's no E at the end of this word, we'll put it under the UR column. Here's the word church. I hear an sound, and without an E at the end of the word, I know that it belongs here. This is the word curse, like you might say a bad word or you might curse. Or maybe someone put a curse on you. Either way, we hear that sound, and we see that E at the end of the word, so we know that it belongs here, like in nurse or urge. Here's the word purse, like your mom or babysitter might carry around with her. I hear that sound, and since I see the E at the end of the word, I know it belongs here with other words like nurse and curse. This is the word churn. Churn is a word that means to stir up. Like if you're churning butter, then you're continuing to stir something until it becomes like butter. I hear an sound in this word, and I don't see an E at the end of it, so I'm going to put it here with my other UR words. Here's the word hurl, kind of an icky word, but hurl, like this, can mean throw up. It can also mean to throw really hard. If I hurl the ball towards you, I'm throwing it really hard. I hear that UR sound, in this word, and I see it's just UR in the middle, so I'm going to put it here with my other UR words. Here's the word blurt, like I blurted out the answer accidentally. I hear that sound, and since there's no E at the end of the word, I know that it belongs here. This is the word curb, like my mom parks the car next to the curb. I hear an sound in this word, and because there's no E at the end of it, I know that I can set it here. The last word in this sort is lure. This means to sort of call over or entice, to catch someone's attention and try to convince them to come to you. And so we hear, like in sure, pure, and cure, that sound in lure. And so we're going to set it over there. I'm going to read down the columns now to make sure that in each header, all of the words that I've sorted sound the same. So over here in URE, we've got sure, pure, cure, lure. We hear that sound in all of those. Then we get to the sound which is made by UR or URE. I'm going to check to make sure that my spelling patterns match in all of these. So we've got turn, purr, burn, hurt, surf, curl, burst, church, churn, hurl, blurt, curb. I heard that sound in all of these words. I'm also going to hear it here, that sound, but in this case, all of these words end in an E, like in curve, nurse, urge, curse, purse. I hear that sound, but each of these has an E at the end of it. And my one oddball word makes the same sound as the UR and the UR consonant E. However, it doesn't have a U in it, and so that's what makes it an oddball. Same sound, but different letters to make that sound. Make sure that your sort looks like mine.